Did you know that some books were once part of the Bible but were later removed? The Book of Jubilees, an ancient and mysterious text, has been preserved to this day only in the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. This book claims to reveal hidden stories, filling in gaps in sacred history and offering deeper insights into God's plan. However, with its 50 chapters full of mysteries, the Book of Jubilees was banned in most Christian communities, considered too sensitive to be regarded as canonical revelation. So what caused this book to be rejected and excluded from the Christian Bible? Let's dive into this journey of uncovering its secrets and explore why the Book of Jubilees has been so controversial. Don't forget to follow and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next exclusive discoveries. The Book of Jubilees originates from an ancient period, thought to have been written around the 2nd century B.C.E. According to scholars, it may have been authored by Jewish scholars from the Essenes, an ancient religious community known for their secluded life and deep spirituality. The Book of Jubilees originates from an ancient period, thought to have been written around the 2nd century B.C.E. According to scholars, it may have been authored by Jewish scholars from the Essenes, an ancient religious community known for their secluded life and deep spirituality. The book appeared in the Near East, possibly in Judea, where scholarly groups tried to record what they believed to be divine revelations. But the interesting part is that the Book of Jubilees is written as direct conversations between God and angels, unveiling the stages of creation, time cycles, and divine laws. Because of its unique style, the book was considered a valuable resource by some communities, but it made others within the Christian community wary and eventually led to its exclusion. According to Jubilees, when God created the universe, He not only brought life but also established the foundation for sacred time, a concept far beyond our understanding of time. Everything, from days and months to years, is adjusted in a perfect system to reflect His divine order. And that's when we encounter the mysterious solar calendar in the Book of Jubilees. This is no ordinary calendar familiar to most of humanity, but an accurate system, with cycles overseen and maintained by heavenly angels to preserve the harmony of the universe. This sacred calendar operates on a fixed structure of 364 days, divided into 4 seasons, each comprising 91 days. In this balance, holy days like the Sabbath and special festivals always fall on predetermined dates. When we read Genesis, the story begins with the formation of earth, but the Book of Jubilees expands the narrative. According to Jubilees, on the first day of creation, before the world took shape, God created the angels. These angels were not merely messengers, but played critical roles in overseeing time, seasons, and maintaining the divine order of the universe. Each angel had a distinct duty. Some monitored the movement of stars in the skies, while others acted as messengers and protectors of God's laws. The Book of Jubilees emphasizes that these angels do more than observe. They uphold the cosmic order, ensuring that the sun, moon, and stars function precisely as ordained by God. In Jubilees 29, God commanded that the sun must adhere to the precise division of the seasons, a divine mandate enforced by the angels. According to Jubilees, when humanity deviates from this system of timekeeping, the sacred structure is disrupted, leading to chaos. This theme runs throughout the entire book. One of the most controversial aspects of the Book of Jubilees is its assertion that humanity must follow the solar calendar instead of the lunar calendar, which many ancient cultures, including the Israelites, adopted. According to Jubilees, only the solar calendar accurately reflects God's divine order. This calendar bears an uncanny resemblance to the Ethiopian calendar, still used by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church today. With 12 months of 30 days each, plus an additional month to balance time, the Ethiopian calendar is one of the few modern systems that may still reflect the sacred time described in Jubilees. Conversely, Jubilees warns of the dangers of adhering to the lunar calendar, a system many cultures, including the Israelites, utilized. The lunar calendar's instability causes months and festivals to shift over time, resulting in spiritual disorder. Jubilees 637 warns that there will be those who will undoubtedly observe the moon, but they will disturb the seasons and create a day of abomination, a day of testimony. According to Jubilees, following the lunar calendar is not only a mistake, but also a form of disobedience to God's will. The Book of Jubilees conveys that if humanity returns to the solar calendar, they could restructure their lives according to the divine rhythm established from the very beginning. This is not merely about counting days, but about living in harmony with God's order. When we align ourselves with this precision, we will live in the way God intended for humanity. The Book of Jubilees affirms the creation story we know from Genesis, but it offers a new perspective on the Sabbath day. According to Jubilees, the Sabbath is not simply a day of rest for God on the seventh day. It is the day that God sanctified, turning it into an eternal sacred law, not only for humanity, but also for the angels in heaven. The Sabbath became the foundation of time, a day set apart from the moment of creation, intended to be kept forever. In Jubilees, the Sabbath is not just a weekly cycle. It is part of a larger time structure, such as the 49-year cycle called Jubilee. These cycles are arranged to bring the world back into God's order, providing rest and renewal for all living beings, from humans to nature, and even for the angels. This is how sacred time operates. The Sabbath is not just a day, it is a principle for maintaining universal harmony. In Jubilees 2:21, the story emphasizes that He sanctified the seventh day and blessed it as a sign of holiness for all His works. This affirms that the Sabbath is not just a day of rest, but an essential part of the universe, established from the very beginning. The Book of Jubilees reminds us that living according to sacred cycles is the way to connect with God's eternal order. If we adhere to the Sabbath and these sacred cycles, can we find a more harmonious life, a deeper spiritual connection? The Book of Jubilees not only affirms that Adam was created on the sixth day, as described in Genesis, but also opens up new aspects of his life. According to Jubilees, right from the beginning, God gave Adam special instructions. These commandments included keeping the Sabbath, rules on purity, as well as regulations on marriage and worship practices. These are not just ethical rules, but part of the divine covenant between the Creator and humanity, conveyed by the angels. Unlike Genesis, which emphasizes the direct connection between God and Adam, the Book of Jubilees reveals that angelic beings played an intermediary role, guiding him in understanding and obeying the laws. The angels present themselves as the ones who communicate and clarify the rules of holiness, sacrifice, and moral living. In Jubilees 3:1-2, we learn that on the sixth day of the second week, the angels guided all living creatures, animals, livestock, birds, and aquatic life, before Adam. The presence of the angels not only strengthens God's laws, but also demonstrates their order and role in the divine world. Interestingly, according to the Book of Jubilees, these divine ordinances did not originate with Moses and the Ten Commandments, but were passed down by angels from the time of Adam, demonstrating the eternal nature of this sacred covenant. Regarding the ancient commandments handed down from the beginning of creation, the Book of Jubilees expands on the story of Cain and Abel after Adam and Eve's fall. While Genesis tells of Cain murdering Abel, Jubilees adds that this act was the first major violation of God's laws and a crime that left profound consequences for all humanity. It was not merely Cain's personal mistake, but the start of a spiritual rupture that later generations would have to confront. When Cain was exiled, hope for a righteous lineage was preserved through Seth, Adam's third son. In Jubilees, Seth symbolizes righteousness, being guided by angels to follow the divine laws handed down by God. This made Seth the foundation for subsequent generations, including Noah, who upheld the covenant with the Creator. The story of Noah and the Great Flood is deeply etched in humanity's memory through Genesis, but the Book of Jubilees provides a different perspective on the events before and after this catastrophe. Prior to the flood, Jubilees describes a world corrupted by the Nephilim, the offspring of fallen angels and human women, who played a central role in the world's moral decline. The Nephilim not only spread wickedness but also disrupted the very order of nature. According to Jubilees 5:2, all flesh had corrupted its ways, from humans to animals, livestock, birds, and even sea creatures. Everything deviated from the order established by God, leading to a world consumed by chaos and violence. These giants, born from forbidden unions, began to devour one another, a chilling detail absent from Genesis. The tragedy of the Nephilim was not limited to individual sins. It symbolized a divine transgression that exceeded human boundaries, a terrible consequence of the corruption caused by fallen angels. These angels not only interacted with humanity, but also revealed forbidden knowledge, blurring the lines between humans and divinity. The Book of Enoch, another text excluded from the canonical Bible, offers additional context, describing how the angel Azazel taught humans to forge weapons and adorn themselves, leading to widespread conflict and vanity. The fallen angels also taught humanity how to observe the signs of the sun and the moon, which Jubilees considers a deviation from the solar calendar established by God. The chaos culminated in God's decision to cleanse the world. Jubilees portrays the Great Flood not only as a punishment, but as an act of re-establishing divine order. After the waters receded, God made a new covenant with Noah. Beyond the promise never to flood the earth again, this covenant included specific laws to ensure humanity would not repeat the errors of the Nephilim. Jubilees emphasizes that Noah was instructed to observe the Sabbath and purification laws, as Adam had received before him. According to Jubilees 7:20-25, Noah was given detailed instructions on preserving the purity of humanity's lineage, including marital rules to protect the sacred lineage from mixing with fallen entities, the sacrificial laws in Jubilees, Noah's offerings and the purity laws, setting the foundation for Israel's sacrificial system, establishing righteousness and divine harmony in the relationship between humanity and God, the expansion of Abraham's story in Jubilees, detailing Abraham's early life and his rejection of idolatry, starting his journey as the chosen one, marking his path of faithfulness to God's will, Abraham's defiance of idolatry in Jubilees. A young Abraham confronts his father's idolatry, destroys the false gods, and aligns himself fully with the one true God, setting the stage for his divine mission. Abraham's obedience to divine laws in Jubilees. Abraham's commitment to God's laws long before Moses, observing the Sabbath and purity laws, and receiving angelic teachings that underpin the eternal covenant. The covenant of circumcision in Jubilees. Abraham's role in establishing the law of circumcision as a universal, eternal command, aligning with the heavenly order and signifying the divine relationship between God and his people. The divine teachings to Abraham in Jubilees. Abraham learning from angels. About the heavenly laws, emphasizing the continuity of divine instructions from Adam to Abraham and the eternal nature of God's covenant. Abraham's circumcision in Jubilees. The act of circumcision as a cosmic law established by God, not just a symbol, but a mandate, connecting heaven and earth, reinforcing the eternal covenant. The eternal nature of Abraham's circumcision in Jubilees, a law that extends across all generations, affirming the celestial mandate and the binding connection between divine order and human obedience. The trial of Abraham's faith in Jubilees. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice Isaac, a test of obedience that transcends the personal, representing a larger spiritual battle against evil and temptation. The spiritual battle in Abraham's trial in Jubilees. The role of the evil angel, Masta in testing. Abraham's faith and the victory of divine obedience as Abraham's loyalty to God prevails. Regarding the story of Jacob and Esau, the Book of Jubilees presents a prophetic depth, showing that Jacob was predestined from birth to inherit the covenant, while Esau was destined to abandon God's divine order. When Jacob received the blessing from his father, he not only gained the birthright, but also inherited the sacred laws passed down from Abraham. Jubilees emphasizes that Jacob became the keeper of the eternal commandments, including rules on purification, the Sabbath, and sacrifices, which would later form the foundation of Mosaic law. God reaffirmed his blessing to Jacob through a vision of the ladder to heaven, where he promised that Jacob's descendants would be as the stars of the sky, Jubilees 27:23, signifying a divine connection between heaven and earth. The conflict between Jacob and Esau is expanded in Jubilees into a prophetic vision of a prolonged struggle between their descendants. Esau is not only the older brother who lost the birthright, but also represents a rebellious lineage perpetually opposing God's chosen people. Jubilees 37:1 records, Esau took his wives, sons, and everything he had, and went up to the hill country of Seir and lived there. Esau became a nation, and they oppressed Jacob's descendants. This is not merely a territorial dispute, but a spiritual battle between righteousness and rebellion, reflecting the apocalyptic vision of Jubilees, where Esau's lineage symbolizes nations opposing Israel throughout biblical history. The Book of Jubilees paints a detailed picture of Jacob's destiny and his lineage in contrast to Esau and his descendants. While Jacob and his sons journeyed to Egypt to reunite with Joseph, Esau and his descendants remained in the land of Edom. Jubilees 45:3 emphasizes that from that point on, the enmity between the two lineages became an enduring conflict between two nations. This vision evolves into a spiritual battle beyond familial disputes, where the destiny of nations and the cosmic struggle between good and evil are affirmed across generations. In Genesis, Jacob's 12 sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, became the patriarchs of the tribes of Israel. Jubilees, however, reveals a deeper sacred meaning to their births. According to Jubilees, the birth of each son was not random, but part of a divine calendar established by God. And Jacob's wives and maidservants bore him 12 sons, each according to the time ordained by the Lord, and their destinies were written on the heavenly tablets. Jubilees 28:12. Thus, not only the lineage but also the timing of each son's birth was part of a cosmic plan, affirming that these 12 tribes represent the fulfillment of divine will. In addition, Jubilees highlights the special roles of Judah and Levi, stemming from Reuben's failure, the firstborn of Jacob. When Reuben committed a serious sin, as mentioned in Genesis 35:22, he lost his position as the firstborn. Jubilees explains that Reuben's sin was not only a personal wrongdoing, but a violation of the divine laws established long ago, deeply impacting the family order. As a result, the leadership was passed on to Judah, while Levi was chosen for the priesthood, ensuring that each had a significant role in the divine order. Because of his sin, Reuben, the firstborn, was not counted among the inheritance, but Judah was chosen as the prince over his brothers, and Levi for the priesthood forever. Jubilees 33:10. Through additional details in Jubilees, the division of responsibilities between the brothers becomes part of a divine plan. Judah's leadership and Levi's priesthood were based on a balance and adherence to God's laws, reflecting a cosmic order where every action and decision had its place and profound meaning. The image of Jacob and his sons is not merely of historical figures, but represents a divine structure that transcends human limits, ensuring that God's plan would be upheld across generations. In Genesis, Reuben loses his firstborn status due to his misdeed, but the Book of Jubilees sheds further light on the significance of this event in the cosmic plan. Judah's rise to leadership and Levi's priesthood were not only a division of responsibility, but a part of an eternal decree. Levi's priestly role was not merely a family tradition, but had been established from the heavenly tablets, affirming that the descendants of Levi would have an everlasting role in maintaining the spiritual connection between heaven and earth. And Levi was separated for the priesthood forever, to offer sacrifices and be a mediator between the people and the Lord, for it had been decreed on the heavenly tablets. Jubilees 32:17. In Exodus 28, Levi's priestly role was formalized through Moses and Aaron, but Jubilees affirms this priesthood as part of a divine command from the time of the ancestors. Not only Levi and Judah had special missions. In Jubilees, each of the 12 tribes was entrusted with a divine responsibility. Jacob's sons were not only the forefathers of the 12 tribes, but also the guardians of the laws and divine order, a responsibility entrusted by God to their descendants. And the Lord said to Jacob, "These are the laws for your children and their descendants forever, written on the heavenly tablets, that they may walk in them and live." Jubilees 29:6. The significance of the 12 tribes expands from land inheritance to the preservation of divine laws on earth, affirming their role as protectors of God's order across generations. Jubilees clarifies the deeper meaning behind the betrayal when Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. In Genesis 37, this event is seen as a manifestation of jealousy, but Jubilees portrays it as a serious violation of divine laws, with consequences that extend beyond familial conflict. The betrayal of Joseph by his brothers is viewed as a transgression of heavenly laws recorded on the heavenly tablets. And the brothers sold Joseph into slavery, and their sin was recorded on the heavenly tablets, for they violated eternal laws. And it was decided that their descendants would suffer until they repented for their great sin. Jubilees 34:4-9. According to Jubilees, the betrayal of Joseph's brothers creates a ripple effect in the divine order, contributing to Israel's future suffering under Egyptian bondage, while setting the stage for God's plan of redemption through the Exodus. While Genesis recounts the reconciliation of Joseph's brothers, Jubilees emphasizes that their actions held greater significance as part of a divine plan recorded on the heavenly tablets. The divisions and violations are not just personal matters, but part of a larger cosmic order, where every action has lasting effects on the divine destiny of Israel. In Genesis, Joseph's success in Egypt is attributed to his ability to interpret dreams. However, Jubilees expands this by stating that his success was predestined by God and recorded on the heavenly tablets. Joseph was appointed as the one to save his family from famine and prepare for Israel's existence in Egypt, leading to the Exodus. Jubilees 42:2 emphasizes, Joseph will reign over Egypt, and through him, the children of Israel will be saved from famine. Furthermore, Jubilees reveals the vital role angels played in Joseph's life, guiding and protecting him to fulfill his divine destiny. The angels intervened whenever he faced danger, as seen in Jubilees 34:21, highlighting God's oversight through his messengers. The connection between Joseph's life and the Exodus is also expanded in Jubilees. His life not only foretold the famine, but also the future enslavement of Israel. Jubilees indicates that Joseph prophesied to his brothers, God will bring you out of Egypt. Jubilees 46:9. Finally, Jubilees ties the period of enslavement and the liberation of Israel to God's divine calendar, recorded on the heavenly tablets. The Exodus was predestined from the beginning of creation to occur on the 14th day of the first month. Jubilees 49:1 describes, For this is the day that has been set apart since the beginning of creation. The suffering and deliverance of Israel are integral to the spiritual structure of the universe, highlighting God's comprehensive plan for Israel within the divine order. In the book of Exodus, the 10 plagues were sent upon Egypt to demonstrate God's power, forcing Pharaoh to release the Israelites. However, the Book of Jubilees provides a deeper insight, portraying these plagues as part of a great spiritual battle between God and the evil forces behind Egypt's deities. Each plague was a direct strike against the gods of Egypt, proving that they held no real power in the face of the Almighty God. Jubilees emphasizes, the gods of Egypt are nothing before him, for they are false powers. Jubilees 48:11, demonstrating God's supremacy over all heavenly and earthly forces. Furthermore, Jubilees suggests that Pharaoh's hardened heart was not merely a political stubbornness, but was spiritually influenced. Evil forces, such as the angel Mima, associated with Satan, hardened Pharaoh's heart to keep Israel in bondage. Nevertheless, God's power overcame all obstacles, and each plague symbolized the defeat of Egypt's gods and the triumph of the God of Israel in this cosmic battle. After Israel's deliverance, Moses led them to Mount Sinai, where he received the laws from God, inscribed on stone tablets. According to Jubilees, however, these laws existed long before Moses and were already recorded on the heavenly tablets. The laws and testimonies were established and written on the heavenly tablets before the foundation of the world was created. Jubilees 6:17. This idea of universal laws suggests that the commandments were not merely for Israel, but were part of a divine order applicable to both angels and humans. This implies that Mosaic law was not new, but part of an eternal plan beyond the limits of time and space. Jubilees also emphasizes that these laws were observed by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob long before Moses formalized them. Abraham is depicted as observing the Sabbath and dietary laws, having received these commandments from angels, affirming that divine laws have always existed. 89. This indicates that Mosaic law was not a new code, but a restoration of laws already known to the earliest generations of humanity. This indicates that Mosaic law was not a new code, but a restoration of laws already known to the earliest generations of humanity. Jubilees also discusses Israel's future, which is written on the heavenly tablets. According to the book, from creation, God predetermined Israel's journey, including their slavery in Egypt, exile, and restoration. Jubilees states, all that will happen to Israel has been written on the heavenly tablets. Jubilees 23:32, emphasizing that the destiny of this nation is part of God's cosmic plan. Ultimately, the Book of Jubilees was excluded from the canonical Bible due to its alternative interpretations and expansive cosmic details regarding divine laws and sacred events. It not only recounts the history of the patriarchs, but also reveals a profound heavenly order where each event and law was predetermined on the heavenly tablets. Jubilees challenges traditional understandings by asserting that divine laws and commandments are not exclusive to the people of Israel, but also bind the entire universe, even the angels. These aspects have made the Book of Jubilees a mysterious and captivating work, offering a view of God's nature that extends far beyond what we have previously known. Perhaps it is this very power to question the boundaries and eternity of divine laws that led to its exclusion from the canonical Bible, not just because of its content, but because of its influence. If you're intrigued and want to dive deeper into hidden ancient texts, make sure to click like, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next video, where we will continue uncovering deep, sacred mysteries and biblical stories.